Hi everyone, welcome to yet another live. So today, I'd like to keep it open today. I'd like you to ask me questions and then we'll have like conversations, things we would want me to talk about. Let's talk about them today. So, I think in the last how many days, I decided to read Daniel again. Daniel is like one of my favorite books in the Bible, and I've been kind of getting a lot of lessons reading the book of Daniel. When I read Daniel chapter 1, first of all, I found something. It's like each time I read the Bible, read Daniel, there seems to be like something new, something, a different insight and inspiration. When we go back history, before we came to that part, Daniel and his people were brought into Babylon as slaves. They came there as slaves, and they were there as slaves, and then the king decided to like pick the choices of them all, like the smartest people with like unique skills, unique abilities, and decided to take them to the palace. As these people now, after they are trained, they will be brought back. They will now be the top people in the government, so to say. It was just like they were brought into the university, because it was like for 3 years. Hi, Dilshad. Hi everyone, welcome to yet another live. This is Let's Talk with Ene. Don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to share, don't forget to comment. So this is another live, and today I was just sharing something that I was reading in the book of Daniel, and I was just sharing some lessons. For me, each time I'm reading, I get to get like inspired. I don't just read for the sake of reading it or because I want to feel better. I read it because there's something I want to gain from inside. And it seems each time I read, I get this inspiration, I get better, I feel better, I get motivated, I get strengthened, my hope is renewed. I'm able to do better. So these guys were in a very difficult situation. They were slaves in this place, and then they were now taken specially to be in this place for the next 3 years. And in that difficult situation, they were told that they were going to be fed the king's meal. Everything that they ate in the palace were going to be fed. And Daniel and his friends proposed in their hearts that they didn't want to defile themselves. One of the things I was thinking was that they chose not to. It's not like anybody coerced them to and say you have to do something to honor God or something. There was no CCTV camera. Nobody was watching them. Nobody was stopping them. Nobody was preventing them. It was a choice. Nobody was asking, is it wrong to do this? Is it a sin? It was a choice. They decided they wanted to do it. And then they chose. A lot of times we're kind of looking for who to tell us what to do, how to do them, why we should do them. Um, we're looking for um, we're looking for something to make us feel good about doing the wrong thing or something. But in Daniel and his friend's case, they just decided to honor God by not. It's not like maybe if they do it, it's going to be something wrong. The king's servant asked them, like, I don't think I want you people to do this because I'm going to be held responsible. And they assured him, don't worry, we take responsibility for whatever happens. And they went about and they asked him to test them for 10 days. And he tested them. And then by the end of 10 days, they were 10 times better than their equals. Now, another thing I drew from that part is that first, Daniel had friends that were like minds. Sometimes it's easier to make certain decisions, to do to take certain decisions and to stand firm and do better when we have the right people around us, the right friends, people with like minds. Just like they said, iron sharpened iron. Like we have people who are thinking alike with us, not people who are going to discourage us. I'm sure probably it was easier for Daniel because he had those friends. And because they chose to honor God, God also rewarded them. And just with vegetables, they were looking fresher and doing better. Now, another point from there that I drew from there is the fact that sometimes, or a lot of times, God uses the simplest thing to do extraordinary things. It was just vegetables. Waiting for something dramatic. We're waiting for something dramatic. We want something dramatic before we'll be able to know that we're supposed to take that decision. Sometimes even something you are looking for, you're probably thinking you need to do one big strategy. You need to come up with one big mighty thing. It may just be something simple. Something very little. Not something big, not something. I mean, God just used vegetables for them. They just ate vegetables and they were healthier. They had more wisdom. They were more intelligent. You know, it was not recorded whether they listened to God or God spoke to them or something. There was no place where it was recorded in that scripture. But it's possible they listened or they were directed. Sometimes we just need to listen. All the time we need to listen for direction, for instructions. Sometimes we just need to keep quiet and listen and think properly. Maybe that thing you are trying to do, that idea you're trying to put together, that project you want to do, that business, that thing you are stuck at, you're thinking, maybe it's not something big that you need. Maybe it's a small strategy, maybe something small, maybe something very little, maybe it's something little that would give you the breakthrough that you need. You just need to be willing to listen. And you just need to be willing to believe. It's just same thing with the story of Goliath and David. It was just a sling and a stone that killed Goliath as big as he was then. Just a sling and a stone. Who would think that little thing would be able to harm anyone? But that was what he used. Sometimes it's not in the big things, it's in the smallest, simple strategy. And also, when you choose to honor God, when you decide to do what pleases Him, He rewards you. There's a reward for it. He's going to do His own part. And then the second part, the second chapter is where there's something that I saw from inside. Now, the king had declared that he had a dream. And he wanted people to find the dream and also interpret it. I mean, that didn't make sense. If you even tell somebody the dream, the person is going to try to come up with an interpretation. And so the wise men kept telling the king that, just tell us the dream. We're going to interpret it. Tell us. And he said, no. if I tell you, you're going to probably use psychology and guess. You're going to probably do a guessing game. I want to know if actually you know this dream and you have power. But if it was probably maybe he was trying to test the kind of powers they have, if they have enough powers or something. And then when they said it was impossible. I mean, if I were there, maybe I would have said it was impossible too. Like, how will you tell me to know what you dreamt last night and to also tell you the meaning? And then the king became furious and he said he was going to kill all of them. And so Daniel held it again. And when he heard it, he didn't panic. He wasn't scared. He wasn't like asking questions or feeling terrible. The only thing he did was like he asked his friends to pray with him. To pray that God will give them an answer and show them. He knew that God could do it. A lot of times we have doubts. A lot of time our first reactions when we are going through challenge is to doubt, is to have questions, is to try to look for alternative, is to get upset, is to start making some kind of comments. But for Daniel and his friend, he was not scared. At least they didn't record that. It said that he just asked his friends to tell God to tell them. It means he was so sure that God had the ability. He just needed to ask. And I was asking myself, maybe sometimes I've not really asked God for the things that I need. I've just been doubting and I just need to ask him. Sometimes our needs, and it's not like those times when you just come, I need this, I need this, I need this. Do you even believe that he's more than able to do those things? They didn't believe in They believed in him so much. They were so sure he could do it. They just needed to ask. And he said, just tell God to tell us this thing. God knows the answer. He's going to tell us. Just ask him to tell us. Just ask him. And they did ask. And what happened? He went boldly before the king and told the king, we know the answer. And then when the king was like, are you sure you know this thing? Are you certain you know this thing? He said, yes. He said, no, I don't. And one of the things I observed from there, he didn't try to take the glory for himself. He said, no, it's not me, but God who knows it. And then he was able to tell the king what the dream meant, what the dream was, and what it meant. And everyone was shocked because, like, this can only be a God. This person is a God. This person is a God. And the king asked them to bow before him. And then he gave Daniel a very big position. And then when he gave Daniel the position, there was something Daniel did that I really learned from there. Daniel asked for rewards for his friends. He didn't forget his friends. You know, we're in a world where these days, even when things happen well for us, even when we have like breakthrough, we forget those people that were there for us, forget our friends, we forget our family, we forget those that helped us. Do you know sometimes you give recommendations to some persons and they will turn back to they will not even remember. You even give some people opportunities, he will recommend them. Sometimes I've seen where you and someone will even decide to do something together and even pitch a project somewhere, and then before you know, the other person has gone behind and go to steal the project or steal the clients from you. But Daniel didn't behave like that. He remembered that he wasn't the one who did this alone. He had people who prayed with him, and he said, no, you can't reward me alone. I want you to reward my friends. There are some people, they are happy if they are doing better than their friends. If they see opportunities, they are not going to give it to their friend. I'm sure the way Daniel sounded about it, if the king didn't have a plan for his friends, he would have insisted that you must give my friends. You must give them a reward. He didn't, if he asked for his friends. He didn't forget his friend. He didn't forget people that were there for them. There are probably people that were there for you. There are probably people that helped you get to where you were. Have you forgotten them? Some people, even when they're in positions to reward people that were there, they forget them. There probably was no position allocated to Daniel's friends. But Daniel insisted and said, "What you need to give you need to give some of these rewards to my friends." Some people are happy when they are the only one doing very well among their friends. There's no way I'll be happy if I'm the only one progressing amongst my friends or even my family. I want all of us to do better, to grow together, to excel, to be making money together, not just me. There's no way I'm going to enjoy money. Imagine you being the only one who own a car and everybody's working. Daniel was not that kind of person. He was a very, very considerate person, someone who remembered those that helped him. And he had like-minded friends, like I said in the first chapter. People who thought like him, who behaved like him, who were in the same position like him. I mean, who had the same belief system, like the what's iron sharpened iron. People were like mine. A lot of times, why we are not able to reach our full potentials, and why we we face difficulties sometimes, because sometimes we surround ourselves with people that are not like-minded, people that don't think like us, people that are like opposites, people that they're not the kind of, they don't have the kind of mindset we have. So a lot of times we see ourselves drowning instead of growing. We are around them, and instead of encouraging us, oh, they're always discouraging. They always have something discouraging to say. Oh, you're not doing well. You bring an idea, they criticize it. You talk about doing something, they criticize it. They're always laughing at you, always trying to make you feel bad. And oh, I don't know. So for me, there's a lot of lessons to learn from there, and I'm currently trying to read it for now. I don't know where I'm going to stop, but I'm going to be reading it as often as I can until I'll be getting all the lessons. I don't know, each time I don't know the spirit behind going on live, but I discovered that whenever I come on live, I feel tired. I get tired easily. I feel like overwhelmed. I don't know what's responsible. So that's why I don't really understand how people stay on live for hours. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing for on live for hours? For me, few minutes. I admire those people who are able to stay long. They have a lot of strength. I'm not going to doubt. They have so much strength. Me, once it's getting to like 10 minutes, I'm already like exhausted. Like now, you see, I'm already feeling sleepy. I'm feeling like tired just because I'm alive. I will need to probably read books or ask questions about how people are able to stay on life for long and then stay there. And then maybe some people do not like show everything they are doing. Maybe they just put the camera and then they're going about their day. Or like some of us that, you see the way I'm snoring. I mean, not snoring, I'm yawning. I'm yawning because I'm tired. And I usually feel like this when I come on live. I feel tired. I don't feel it. But I would love to be coming on live. So I'm just gonna be trying. I'm just gonna be showing up every day, or at least once in how many days I'm going to come online. I'm going to like share, talk. I feel if I build this momentum over time, I'll feel very better. I'll feel very good. I'll feel better. To the one person that's been here for the longest time, thank you so much for joining this live. Thank you for showing up. It means a lot to me. I would always say, if there's just one person on live with me, it encourages me to. It makes me feel good. Oh, there's one person listening to me. There's one person out there who believes in me enough to to want to hear what I'm saying. Don't forget to like, to comment, to share. If you have suggestions on videos you'd like me to create and talk about, please do let me know. Thank you so much for coming to my live. I'll see you some other time. Bye.